Welcome back to Fire Force Anime Review, episode number 64. We're here reviewing the 56th episode series, which has like two titles with it for reasons that basically are, well, it's called Holy Mar Darkness, The King's Great Adventure. Yep, that is the name of this episode. This episode adapts from the last two chapters of the Return of St. Raphael's arc, 200 and 201, and it also adapts chapter 202. Yeah, it doesn't cover very much at all, though I think next week we'll cap out this arc. So, what happens this episode? We start off last week where Sister Susumri basically is going to be alive and well, despite like everyone thought this one was dead. Nope, she's alive and well. And she kind of explains some stuff basically here, like apparently the first Cataclysm was a failure, it didn't destroy everything like it was supposed to. Oh, she also apparently can vibrate because she's shivering as it's cold. So she causes the ground to shake, and then she all of a sudden decides to have an ability where she opens up a Duel Link, and there's three doppelgangers. And basically, and these are three kid versions who Hibana immediately recognizes as the kids who supposedly died about a decade before the events of the series. Who died? It was mentioned in flashback in season 1 about all these kids dying, except for Hibana and Iris. So they try to take her on, and of course, I think it's Rico Jawa's character, his horns basically destroyed. The other lieutenant basically gets his, he also gets basically his nose, he also causes his nose to bleed too. The other one gets his arm nearly shredded by her vibrate ability. And then Hibana's bodyguard proceeds to basically blow a hole in the ground, allowing the three of them to escape. And it's really the end of the scene here that Susumri is the seventh pillar. Yep. You're probably thinking, okay, so the second pillar is the one with the crown over her head. Shiro, who is Shiro's younger brother, he's the third pillar. Shiro is the fourth pillar. The fifth pillar is she works for, she's actually the one with arrows. I think the sixth pillar is a little boy who was, I think it's part of the Hydra arc, I think it was. That's sixth pillar. So she's a seventh pillar, and you're probably all thinking, who's the eighth pillar? Well, they will now reveal it to a little later in this arc. Of course, there's hints about another Cataclysm, which has a hint for the end of the series. What's good for that, and it's a good adaptation, basically, of that arc. Not in the case of this adventure. Oh boy, this adapts like one chapter of this silly arc. So, Arthur is mopey over his Excalibur being destroyed by Dragon in the previous episode, so Vulcan looks like, oh, this is basically looking, oh, it's Orcal coming from Ors. Apparently it's from a general store at his home. So he gets Liz and the little kid who works with them. And Iris briefly appears in this episode. By the way, in case you're curious though, you watch this episode like, where the heck is Shira? Isn't he like the main character of this? Why isn't he in the episode? Was he in the chapters and it was cut? No. He is not here because he was not in these arcs. Not really. Yeah, he's absent. Which I think this makes like the first time I could think of that he's been absent for an episode. I believe so, yes. And it's like they look around and they kind of find this stuff. Arthur is basically on a imaginary power trip and thinks basically his imagination can better him. There's a brief scene with Benimaru and Joker talking about what was destroyed next, and that's pretty much the episode in a nutshell. So you think with this episode, like, since they went to chapter, I think it was like 202 of this episode, because they had about, I think it's about 3 more, because I remember correctly, this arc, it started with chapter 201, and the thing finished up with chapter 202. So they're roughly 2 chapters into this 4 chapter story arc. Which means, yes, this will cap off for next episode. Yep. And then starting next week, they'll be starting up Stone Pillars. Yes. So, also with this episode, since we got at chapter 202, there is exactly 152 chapters of the adapted for the whole series. Yep, 152. Let's say we have plenty of chapters let's say we have plenty of episodes to cover this much. Let's hope so. Okay, so that's pretty much that particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, we have a comic corner, and then it's on to Case Close. Okay, next one. Bye.